everyone. Thank you for joining us on our Project 31 YouTube channel. My name's Jennifer Harrod. I'm the breast nurse navigator with Project 31. And Katie, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
One
you.
of my wonderful friends.
No.
So happy to have her here, my survivor sister. We are going to talk today about coping with survivor's guilt. I know myself, I've dealt with this, and I know you've dealt with survivor's guilt as well. So what is survivor's guilt? It's when a person has feelings of guilt because they survived a life-threatening situation when others did not. It's a common reaction to traumatic events and a symptom of PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. Breast cancer survivors may question why they lived when others lost their lives, or wonder if there's something they could have done to prevent the traumatic events such as breast cancer. Many people experience survivor's guilt, such as first responders, war veterans, and crash survivors, just to name a few. However, most cancer survivors really don't realize and associate that what they're going through is a traumatic and post-traumatic stress event as well. So, Katie, how did you feel with survivor's guilt?
I don't feel like I was able to properly identify it when it was happening. So it almost feels like displaced anxiety, because you're like, why is my body responding in this way?
Right.
Because it almost kind of feels like it takes you back to the traumatic event. And so I think it's just a lot of unknowns and being comfortable in the fact that we're feeling easy in the fact that there are unexplainable things that happen, and we don't get to choose when it's our time.
Right.
And it's certainly difficult to feel thankful in those moments. You do feel thankful, but it's it's a conflict, and it's hard to identify. It's hard to talk about with others,
right.
and
I know for me, when our good friend passed, that was so young, had children, and I'm thinking, I'm older.
That's exactly where my brain took me as well. Yeah,
I have stepdaughters, but I didn't have young children at home. They were older. So, for me, I felt that way.
Yeah, I think our that's the same friend I was thinking of when we started talking about this topic, because that was it's very hard, especially someone that you know and you love and you care about.
It makes me tear up.
Yeah.
Sorry, folks,
No.
but survivor's guilt again.
Yeah, it's the best way I can describe it is it's messy, and it's just something I try to acknowledge it when I feel it and let myself feel it, but I also let myself feel that the logical side as well, that I am still here, and I do still have a life to live, and those people that we miss dearly, they would want us to carry on living our lives and living it the best way that we can. And so it's just leaving space at the table for both of those feelings, I think.
I think that's a great way to word it.
Yeah.
And for those of you that aren't really sure, like we've talked about, how to describe it, or are you feeling this, or really recognizing it, there's a few symptoms of survivor's guilt or PTSD that we may experience and just not be able to put our finger on it.
Yeah.
A few of those may be problems with sleeping,
Yeah.
fear, confusion, lack of motivation, feelings of helplessness, and maybe, like you mentioned, flashbacks of that traumatic event, of getting your chemotherapy, going through surgery.
Yeah. Just kind of the best way I can describe it is, it just kind of takes you back to a place where your body feels like that trauma again, and you're kind of For me, like my anxiety comes from like my chest, and
Yes.
so not being able to catch my breath, like feeling like I'm having the start of a panic attack, things like that. That's usually how mine manifest, and yeah, those are usually key indicators. I'm like, okay, I need to like. Sometimes I'll try to go to like a quiet place and try to like do like diaphragmatic breathing.
Right. And those are great. And that's a great thing you bring up. How do we manage these feelings when we have them? Because not everybody experiences survivor's guilt or PTSD. A lot of times, people that have gone through a traumatic event prior, maybe in their past, in their childhood, may be more prone to post-traumatic stress disorder or survivor's guilt. So how do you cope with it? I think is a big thing. Like you mentioned before, accept and allow yourself to feel those feels.
Yes, let yourself have. I mean, I try to allow myself to have like, if I feel like I'm like really struggling, let myself have a full come apart. Let myself just cry like a crazy person for a little bit, and then and then I usually try to get myself back together. But I do try to allow myself to feel things and I try really hard not to bury them, because I usually make things worse when I do that.
Exactly. Smart. Very smart. Because we may have feelings such as fear, grief, sadness, and that's normal, that's acceptable. When you're processing this trauma that you're going through, such as cancer, you're going to have all of those feelings. And your grief over what we thought our life was going to be, where we thought we were going.
Yeah. And you bring up a good point. Just also, I think like for, people that have gone through cancer, that have experienced cancer, whether they're the patient or the caregiver, knowing that like your emotions may not be what someone would call like the norm. Like you're not living a highlight reel like you see everybody else. And then, but knowing that like those thoughts and feelings do have a seat at the table, and they deserve to be validated. They deserve to be heard. That is our norm, is being able to express those feelings, because it helps us heal.
That's a good point. That's a great point. And I think when you take time to feel your loss, to feel this grief, if it starts to feel overwhelming and something you don't think you can manage, please reach out, talk to a counselor.
Yeah.
Talk to somebody that's trained to talk to you about these. I know I had to.
Yeah, I did as well. I think my only regret with therapy is not going sooner. And I didn't realize how, my anxiety and my trauma was manifesting. And oftentimes I feel like if we're privileged to have a caregiver go through this journey with us, we often look to them for that support, because they were really the constant. And, it took my husband looking at me and saying, I don't think I can give you the help that I think that you need. And
that's brilliant.
It clicked in my head, and I said, oh, you're so right. Like, you can't wear every hat.
Thank goodness he knew that, and he could say that.
Yes,
be real.
And it was a completely safe place for him to say that, because it just clicked. I was like, oh, I do need to go to therapy. And through that, like, I was able to let go of a lot of things that I thought I was never going to heal from. I thought it was always going to feel this bad, and it doesn't have to.
You're very right. I mean, I remember going through it, and I thought I was doing good. I thought, man, I am just flying through this. I had surgery. I didn't have chemo. I didn't have radiation. So I thought I was doing great. And then my husband would walk in a room and I would just scream. Yeah. He's like, hey, I live here too. You do know that. And I'm like, why am I acting this way? I know you're walking in a room, but somebody'd walk in a room and I was just so wound up, so tight.
Yeah. You're like in a different world. Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this isn't normal. This isn't right. I need help.
Yeah. Yeah.
So also another way to kind of manage this is connecting with others going through the same event. And I think that's where Project 31, a support group, really was helpful. during my journey, extremely.
Yeah.
Because I think, like you said, talking to our husbands, our friends, our loved ones, they love us, but they don't get it.
Yeah, they don't, and they don't have to. That's not their. It's
Right.
not their job. That's not their responsibility to get it. But it is our job as the people going through that trauma to find resources to make it
Definitely.
not as hard. And I went into Project 31 support groups. Not at all my lane. I'm like, I don't need to hold hands in a circle and sing Kumbaya. And it wasn't that.
No.
It was real, and it was other people that look like us, that feel like us, and that's everything. Is finding people that are like you and are going through something similar that can just say, hey, that really sucks.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, you can't fix it. We can't make this go away. We can't undo this, but we can sit with each other in it and hold hands through it.
I know you're not alone.
Yeah.
Give each other comfort
Yeah.
and empower
Yeah.
each other.
No matter what your head says, I definitely have the voice in my head that can be loud sometimes, and not letting that dictate or influence you not living the best life that you possibly can.
Right.
Yeah.
That's good. And I think during this journey, really, for me, practicing mindfulness,
Yeah.
practicing that self-care, there were mornings that I would wake up and I would just go sit in my closet. That's where I could get away from everybody.
Yeah.
I could hide in there.
Yeah.
And I could practice my mindfulness. I could focus and just, when I'm feeling overwhelmed, when I'm feeling as though I don't know if I can handle this, just taking that time to practice, like you said, your breath work,
Yeah.
really helped me to center and to focus on the now.
Yeah.
Not my feelings of what's going to happen, what did happen, but now.
Yeah.
That really helped me. Just that self-compassion.
Yeah, and it's hard because I think when you're going through trauma and you're going through a life-threatening illness, you're going through depression, like it is so messy, and sometimes we may convince ourselves that we don't deserve those things.
Right.
And we do. I know for me, the thing that always kind of gets me out is I force myself to do something I absolutely do not want to do.
That's great.
So like if I am not feeling great, maybe I need to like go run. Maybe I need to go run and just like scream.
And we did that together.
Yes, we did. Up
We
many
ran.
hills.
And we screamed, I think, up
Yes,
some of those
I think
hills.
so, too.
If we could breathe,
Yeah.
we were screaming. So just finding that time to really care for yourself and do what you can do to get out of your head.
Yeah. And sometimes that's just like calling somebody and being like, I don't need you to give me advice. I just need you to let me whine and complain about this for a second. I don't need you to say you're sorry. I just need you to just not talk and just let me like word vomit.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's what's great about Project 31. Yeah.
It really is, because you
Yeah.
have those friends that get it. They're like,
Yes.
okay, I won't talk, just go.
Yep, exactly.
And I think giving permission to yourself to really focus on you is just so important, because for me as a mother, as a nurse working in a hospital at the time, we were building a new house. I've got to be strong.
Yeah.
I can't let my guard down. I can't let them see that I'm really struggling. And I think just giving yourself permission that it's okay.
Yes. And that it doesn't have to be only grief or only joy.
Right.
Both can exist simultaneously.
You're right.
You can feel grief and also have joy.
Definitely.
You don't have to just have one or the other. I mean, that's just life.
True. And I think some other examples other than mindfulness or meditation, maybe you like to read.
Yeah.
Reading can put you in that other world.
Yes, I love to read. I just in the past year, ever since I graduated college, I hadn't really read because I'm like meh. And so it's been about a year now that I've been actively reading more, and it's been wonderful. It's
Right.
like the best. It just takes your brain straight out of it, for me at least, and puts me straight into whatever world I'm reading.
Me too.
And it's wonderful. Yeah, I can't recommend it enough. Just finding a good book.
And I even listen to Audible, because then I can listen to it in the car. I can listen to it while I do laundry,
Yes.
So, journaling is another one that's helpful. Listening to relaxing music,
Yeah.
taking a bath, a bubble bath. I didn't really give myself permission to do that most days, but when you're going through something like that, I think that's
Yes.
kind of relax you. Aromatherapy.
Yeah.
Prayer was big for me as I was going through it. And like we mentioned, exercising.
Yeah.
Even if it's getting out there and walking,
Yep.
that's a great one.
Even if it's moving your legs while you're sitting on the couch,
Right.
that counts.
And I felt like getting out in nature helped just to wipe my mind and just listen to the birds.
Yeah.
That really helped. But definitely make sure you're getting enough sleep, eating a balanced diet.
Yeah.
Because I think that's real big on self-care as well.
Yeah. And if anxiety plays a big part in both of those things. And so, if you find yourself, you're having trouble with those things, like talk to your doctor, talk to somebody that can maybe help with those things as well. Because I know for me, when I'm anxious, I'm like, oh, I can't eat, oh, I can't sleep. But,
Right. Do something good for others. So I know with Project 31, we try to go out and work at the food bank.
Yeah.
And we'll donate our time there as a team. And that's very rewarding. It gets your mind off of
Yes.
what you're going through, because other people are going through traumatic things as well.
Yeah.
So for me, that was very helpful. It offers encouragement to others and just gave me a good feeling.
Gives you a sense of being a part of something bigger than yourself.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And fulfillment.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you can do this by send a care pack to somebody.
Yeah.
Offer encouragement maybe to somebody else going through breast cancer or another type of cancer. Make a charitable donation to a charity. Volunteer at a local charity. Write a card or a letter
Yeah.
to someone. Just encouragement. I know for myself, I felt I needed to help others, and I was looking for ways. I'm not artistic. I'm not creative.
Oh.
So I'm not. So I had to think of a way. Well, I'm a nurse. So my way of giving back to others was becoming a breast nurse navigator,
Yeah.
helping others walk alongside of them.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely relate to that. I mean, I never thought I'd see myself in the oncology field. Prior to my cancer diagnosis, it was not something that I ever saw myself doing, and now it's my greatest passion, just being able to talk with people like this and with y'all, and that's what gives me purpose and also healing as well.
It really does. I think finding whatever your niche is that you can give back to the community, whether that be your time or whatever talent you possess. And I think push yourself to focus on things other than what breast cancer has taken away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Try to focus on the blessings in your life and reframe cancer and survivorship guilt instead as a gift. Cancer can be a gift in many ways as well.
Yeah. And if you're not there yet where you don't see it as that, that's fine. There's, I've said this before already, but there is place for this, for you to say this sucks and to acknowledge that this sucks, but to also look at okay, well, there have been maybe one or two ways this might have helped me. And for that, I can feel thankful. We're thankful to still be here because, even if it's bad, you're still here experiencing something.
Exactly.
And that's worth celebrating, even if it's not great right now.
It is. And look at it as an opportunity to help others.
Yeah.
Because you understand. Remember that your friends or loved ones did not die so that you could live.
Yeah.
I think that's important.
That's a good one.
And find ways to honor them and yourself. And just give yourself grace.
Yeah. Be kind to yourself.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Katie.
Thank you.
I appreciate you being here with us.
Always.
If you like our YouTube channel, and please go ahead, like us, follow us. If you have any suggestions for new material that you would like us to cover, please put that in the comments. Thank you so much for joining us today. Have a great day.